Superfriends is a fun archetype to build. You can go all in and build a Chandra tribal list, or maybe Liliana tribal, or a host of others. Obviously, it tracks a Praetor's Voice with her built-in proliferate and colors that allow you to access both Doubling Season, and Oath of Teferi is one of the most popular Super Friends commanders. What is Super Friends, you ask? Super Friends is a reference to the old kids cartoon from the 70s. It was a child-friendly version of the Justice League and was very popular back in its day. But in Magic, especially in EDH, the Super Friends archetype refers to Planeswalkers. And not just having Planeswalkers in your deck, they are your primary win condition. So you want a lot of Planeswalkers in your deck. Additionally, you need to be able to protect your Planeswalkers, most often either through stacks, board wipes, or a bunch of blockers. I've decided to go the stacks route. Sort of. Pramikon Sky Rampart is a 3-mana 1/5 legendary wall with flying. When it enters the battlefield, choose right or left. Each player may only attack the nearest opponent in the chosen direction, and planeswalkers controlled by that opponent. In other words, we control the direction that people can attack. So if we've got a Spellslinger deck on one side and a Kaalia deck on the other, we can point that Kaalia player away from us. So our commander does a great job protecting us from creatures beating up on our planeswalkers, but there is one other weakness to the Super Friends archetype: the Immortal Sun. This 6-mana artifact is expensive, and at 6 mana it doesn't see a ton of play in today's meta. But it does exist, so we need to watch out for it. I know that's a lot of text, but the key line on it says players can't activate Planeswalkers' loyalty abilities. In other words, our Planeswalkers do nothing except for their static text. But good news, dear listener, if there's one thing red and white excel at, it's blowing up artifacts. But before we get into our deck list, let's keep in mind our checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, 1 sudden I win card. Quick note before we get into the deck list. Super Friends is not a cheap archetype. With few exceptions, Planeswalkers are mythic rares. For the most part, they start at $5 and go up to $50 or even higher in some cases. If you're wanting a budget list, I don't believe it's possible to build a good $100 Super Friends deck. There are many archetypes out there that you can build if you're wanting an inexpensive, powerful, focused deck. I've done $50 deck tech videos on both Niv Mizzet Perun and Feather, and I firmly believe that both those decks can hold their own at any table short of a CEDH table. But Super Friends, like Enchantress, is not a cheap archetype. With that out of the way, let's get into our deck list. I think this time we should start with our interaction. Our counterspell package is small, only 4 cards: Dovin's Veto, Negate, Wash Away, and Commit Memory, which also serves as our first piece of graveyard hate. Counterspells are powerful, but it's a 1-for-1 trade, and in Commander, 1-for-1 isn't good enough. However, sometimes your opponents are about to win the game or destroy your entire board, so you want to have answers for those problems. For spot removal, we have a Braid, Aura of Silence, Generous Gift, Heliod's Intervention, and Vandal Blast. Obviously, our spot removal is focused on killing the Immortal Sun. To help keep our board safe, we're running Teferi's Protection, Blacksmith's Skill, and Semester's End. Our board wipes consist of Cyclonic Rift, Farewell, which also serves as our second piece of graveyard hate, Vanquish the Horde, and Blasphemous Act. For card advantage, we're running the on-theme Oath of Jace, Whirlwind of Thought, Windfall, Jeska's Will, Underworld Breach to rebuild as needed, and Rhystic Study. I know that's not a lot, but you're about to see why. Let's take a look at our Planeswalkers that bring us card advantage or help us scry. Jace Beleren, Narset Parter of Veils, Saheeli Rai, Teferi Time Raveler, Chandra Torch of Defiance, Narset of the Ancient Way, Teferi Master of Time, Jace Unraveler of Secrets, Ral Izzet Viceroy, Teferi Hero of Dominaria, Tezzeret Artifice Master, Teferi Temporal Archmage, Will Kenrith, and Ugin the Spirit Dragon. That's 20 cards dedicated to card advantage. Before we get to the rest of our Planeswalkers, I wanted to take a look at our support cards. Planeswalkers are a lot of fun, but activating them more than once per turn is even more fun. To enable that, we've got Oath of Teferi and the Chain Veil. We're also running a Spark Double to copy any of our Planeswalkers or our Commander if we want to completely shut down attacking. Throne of Geth and Flux Channeler are great, easy-to-activate proliferate effects, and Oath of Gideon helps our Planeswalkers ultimate quicker. And just in case we're attacked, we have Mila, Crafty Companion. I doubt we'll ever cast the reverse side, as Luca Wayward Bonder doesn't work well in a creature-light deck like ours. Now let's take a look at the rest of our Planeswalkers. To start, we have Dovin, Hand of Control as a stacks effect. Saheeli, Sublime Artificer, creates an army of blockers, or we can use her to change one of those blockers into a copy of the Chain Veil or Throne of Geth. The Wanderer protects our Planeswalkers from board wipes that hit Planeswalkers. Karn, the Great Creator, is devastating stacks effects against a lot of decks, and can retrieve the Chain Veil if it's been exiled. Chandra, Awakened Inferno, is a mini board wipe combined with player removal, while Rowan Kenrith is basically a mass goat effect when combined with Pramikon. And if we ever ult her, our deck goes insane. But in order to cast all our Planeswalkers quickly, we need ramp. To enable this, we've got Sol Ring, Arcane Signet, Felwar Stone, Thought Vessel, Mind Stone, Izzet Signet, Boros Signet, Azorius Signet, Talisman of Creativity, Talisman of Conviction, Talisman of Progress, Chromatic Lantern, and Smothering Tithe. Our land base is almost as expensive as our Planeswalkers. We've got the old standard Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, and Mystic Monastery as a budget tricolor land. But we're also running Rogrim Triome, Shocks, Checks, Bondlands, Innistrad Slowlands, Reliquary Tower, Karn's Bastion, Scavenger Grounds as our third piece of graveyard hate, 4 mountains, 9 islands, and 5 plains. So how does our list compare to our checklist? 50 mana sources, right on track. 20 pieces of card advantage, a little high, but that's okay. 5 pieces of spot removal, plus 4 counterspells, and 9 Planeswalkers with spot removal or bounce effects, bringing the total to 18. 6 board wipes, counting Ugin and Chandra Awakened Inferno. 3 pieces of graveyard hate. No sudden I win cards, but we do have a combo that I'm sure some of you caught. Let me explain. Teferi Temporal Archmage's downtick untaps up to 4 target permanents. If we untap 3 mana rocks that can produce at least 4 mana, plus the Chain Veil, we can activate our Planeswalkers an infinite number of times. Now, we only have 1 mana rock that produces 2 or more mana in Sol Ring, so we're not all in on this combo, and it won't produce infinite mana for us. But even if we have a net loss of a single mana every time we activate the Chain Veil, we'll still have multiple activations of all of our Planeswalkers, allowing us to ultimate some of them very quickly and win the game. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cute Stuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, there's a link to her Fiverr page below. I'm doing a push and trying to post new videos every weekday for the next few months, so look forward to lots of new videos in the near future. Or you can click here for more Commander content. I've also started a Patreon. You can click the link below or go to patreon.com/Danon. Stay safe, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.